Hello, welcome to Store Stories. Every Friday I'd like to release a video of the weird stuff I've had to deal with working at the grocery store. Growing up, I was always a tall, skinny kid. My brother and I, we got teased by family members that we never really got full as much as we just got tired of eating. And then I got a job at a grocery store. Every day I would drink over a gallon of soda every day, and every day for lunch I would eat fried chicken every single day. It got to the point where when I clocked out for lunch, they would go back to the deli. They just hand me a container of fried chicken because they know, oh, yep, Mark's on lunch. Here's this fried chicken that he always asks for. So I drink two liters of soda each night, and then grab one and a quarter liter sodas at lunch break, and then every day for lunch, that's my lunch, and that's my soda and drinks. And then every night for dinner, I would have basically Hamburger Helper almost every night for dinner. Not sponsored. I'd have Hamburger Helper or the Velveeta version, the cheeseburger dinner. Again, not sponsored. I knew I was developing a serious gut, but I didn't recognize the problem because, my arm, I have a belly, but my arms are skinny, and my legs I was assuming was solid muscle because at that time, at one point, my car that I had went 2 years without an oil change, so I didn't have a car. So I would walk the 2 miles to work, and then walk around for the better part of 9 hours, and then walk home for another hour. So I was walking around for 10 or 11 hours a day. I was assuming that my legs were completely muscle. Yeah, that was what I was thinking at the time. Is I thought my legs were all muscle and arms are skinny. So it's not like I'm fat. And until I got the Wii balance board, and not sponsored. And then oh yeah, you have a BMI of plus 40. Yeah, I had a pretty big BMI. I didn't really have a plan on how to lose weight at the time. Back when I was a kid, Mom had a weight loss surgery, and she kind of introduced me for the low carb diet, but I never really followed that diet because I never thought I needed a diet, but never really had a plan for losing the weight once I realized I was morbidly obese. They don't like that term anymore, but that's, well, I'm going to call it what it is. It's deadly to obese. And at that time, I hadn't started wearing the New Balance shoes that I wear now. Not sponsored. I was always going to Walmart to buy the cheap Walmart shoes. Again, not sponsored. So I'd spend another $20 every couple months on new shoes because there's a parable online that I keep coming across. It's attributed to the Discworld series. I have a very long to-do list, and that it's long enough without Discworld on there. I mean, I don't have an opinion for or against Discworld. It's just I have a very long to-do list as it is. The parable is that a rich man spends a lot of money on an expensive pair of boots, but a poor man doesn't have money to spend on that expensive pair of boots, so he has to buy the cheap boots that wore out. So he had to buy another pair of cheap boots, and those wore out, and then this pair of cheap boots that wore out. And eventually, over time, he would spend more money on the cheap boots that keep wearing out, as opposed to the rich man who bought the expensive pair of boots lasted for years and years and years. So it's kind of a parable saying that poor people have kind of a poor tax because they have to end up buying more money on cheaper stuff because the cheaper stuff keeps getting worn out, as opposed to the rich people who can afford stuff that can last a long time. It is kind of funny listening to the AI channels trying to make sense of this parable because they think the moral of the story is you have to spend money on expensive boots. They don't realize that it's not that you have to spend money on an expensive thing. It's just poor people are kind of in a trap on not being able to afford decent stuff that can last a long time. So at the time, I was dealing with cheap shoes, horrendous diet, and walking around 10 or 11 hours a day. And an elderly coworker asked me why I was limping around because I was in the break room and my feet were on fire. My feet were just pain. And I told him I'm limping because my feet hurt. And he just says, diabetes. Yeah, the pronouncement of the diagnosis kind of startled me because I just discovered what 40 BMI meant. And again, I know I had a belly, but I never really thought about how to lose weight. Suddenly, oh yeah, suddenly you have diabetes. It just sounded ridiculous. Yeah, he goes, yeah, you have diabetes in your feet. It's like, I don't think so. I think it's more about having a horrendous diet, cheap shoes, and walking around 10 or 11 hours a day. He goes, no, you have diabetes in your feet. People with diabetes, their feet tend to fall off. It's like, I don't know much about diabetes. Um, yeah, I have health insurance, and at the time I had health insurance, but at the time I hadn't been to the doctor in over 20 years because I have health insurance. Don't ask me how health insurance works. I have no idea how any of that works. When people explain how it works, I can understand it while they're explaining it to me. And if you ask me to repeat what they just said, I have no idea how any of that works. I had no idea how I was medically, but I don't think your feet falling off is the first symptom of diabetes. It's much more likely that I was eating crap, not taking care of myself, and walking around for a better part of 11 hours a day. Yeah, and I know that people with diabetes, they have problems in their extremities, and they eventually do have parts cut off of them, like their feet and stuff like that. People can go blind from diabetes, but I don't think that's how that works. I don't think it's suddenly, oh yeah, dead because of diabetes. I think it's like a progressive type of thing. Yeah, and like I mentioned before, I'm starting really good on my diet now. I'm under 310 pounds again. So that's when I'm under 310 pounds, my feet stop hurting, and I think it has something to do with wearing a decent pair of shoes again. Oh yeah, diabetes. You have diabetes in your feet. Like I don't think that's how that works. So yeah, my feet did hurt when I was 360 pounds eating crap food and wearing cheap shoes, but now I'm eating better food. I have decent shoes and I'm losing weight. I did eventually go to go see a doctor a year or two ago. Again, I need to take better care of myself and probably see a doctor a little more often than every 20 years or so. He tested my A1C. It was 5.7 when they tested it, and that was when I just quit drinking beer. I was from time to time still eating crap food, but I'd be really curious how well I am now, 2 years into quitting the drinking and 2 months into almost carnivore diet. But you have diabetes in your feet because your feet hurt after walking around 10 hours a day and eating crappy food. I don't think that's an accurate diagnosis. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And have a nice day.